traces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for the daily races, going nowhere.
At the present time, the traditional medical community believes that there is basically only an acute form of the disease that is characterized in a soundbite as hard to get and easy to treat. For 10 or 15 years, there has been a second group of Lyme doctors that say, no, that's not true. Lyme disease can be a persistent chronic illness with many different symptoms. So the question that is posed at the present time is, does chronic Lyme disease really exist?
I used to do ballet, and I was in the Nutcracker a bunch of times. That time of year was always really crazy and running around, going to rehearsals and stuff, but I loved it.
Her ankle was bothering her, then her right knee blew up, and they tapped into it and they found that she had late-stage Lyme, and it was in her brain.
She just went downhill very fast. All of a sudden, she couldn't pick up a knife, pick up a fork, couldn't write with a pencil.
The ELISA and Western blot are both antibody tests that test for Lyme. The ELISA is a titer test that measures the amount of antibodies in the blood. It is often used as a screening test. It misses at least 35% of culture-proven cases. Western blot also misses many cases. A study found that about 36% of culture-proven cases remain negative on Western blot throughout the illness. In 1988, the New York Health Department warned physicians that the ELISA and the Western blot tests were missing up to 45% of positive cases. In 2005, a study by Johns Hopkins University concluded that the two tests were missing 75% of positive Lyme cases. A person may test negative for Lyme disease and still have the disease. There is no test that can prove a person doesn't have Lyme.
Over the last 12 years, I've been diagnosed off and on with lupus,
chronic fatigue syndrome, Crohn's disease,
fibromyalgia,
lupus, fibromyalgia, MS,
fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis.
Doctors thought I had ADD.
Chronic fatigue syndrome,
Parkinson's disease,
syphilis, multiple sclerosis,
MS to ALS to nothing.
They were pulling anything out of their hat they could think of.
Alright, so over the years I've been seeing a lot of doctors for pretty much no reason, because the whole time we knew it was Lyme disease. And so this is what my doctor, all my doctors put me on between those times. This is what my case has added up to. When it could be controlled by a single bottle of doxycycline in the beginning, this is what it's added up to. And some of these medicines aren't covered by insurance, so they cost a lot of money. This map of Millbury shows all the woods where ticks can live. The tick calendar lasts all year long. September and October are important months in a tick's life, because they need to find a host to live off of for the next coming months. But even in the winter, you can get bitten by a tick. Ticks can live off of your pets, rats, mice, and most important, deer. To get Lyme, you must be bitten by an infected deer tick. The tick then transfers the disease in your bloodstream.
The spirochete infection then transfers all over to your body, your brain, your heart, your lungs, your nervous system, and you get many different symptoms of Lyme disease. This is Malaria. It's also known as a spirochete because of the shape. Because of its shape, it can burrow itself anywhere in your body and give you many different symptoms. Think of malaria as a running back. With over 100 different types of the disease in the United States, it makes the defense, or your immune system, hard to fight because it is so elusive.
I think like a lot of people who've had Lyme disease, I've been led to wonder why it's not being treated with the kind of seriousness that it deserves. This is not a rare disease. It's thought of as a rare disease, but in fact, there's nothing controversial about the fact that it's the most common vector-borne disease in America today. It is far, far more common and much more dangerous to the average American than West Nile virus is.
The Centers for Disease Control reported over 35,000 new cases last year. Yet because the disease is so often overlooked, they admit that the actual number may be up to 12 times higher, making Lyme disease far more prevalent than AIDS. In the past 15 years, annual cases have increased fourfold. And in the past 2 years alone, cases have almost doubled.
The number of cases of Lyme disease went way up in this country last year, up by 41% to be exact.
A record number of Lyme disease cases have been reported in the state of Maryland this year.
New cases of Lyme disease are up 50% in Massachusetts.
The CDC admits there are at least 10 times as many cases out there.
The entire neighborhoods and whole families are being debilitated by this infectious disease.
Health officials are now calling it an epidemic.
When I first started showing symptoms of Lyme, it was May 2008. I started to experience my pain in my stomach, and I had consistent vomiting. By September of 2008, I dropped 40 pounds. I was at a high school football practice for my team, and I didn't feel good. I tried to walk off the pain, but I didn't get too far, and I was on my hands and knees throwing up blood. It was then I realized I didn't have the virus my doctor told me I did. I had to get my gallbladder removed the next week. My pain continued after my surgery, and I was unable to put back any of my weight. My primary care sent me to a doctor at St. Vincent Hospital. He was a GI specialist. The next coming months I spent a lot of my time in that hospital. The doctor did many tests of my GI, including nuclear medicine testing. The doctor also put me on many different medicines. I still continued to have my pain and other symptoms throughout his treatments. He finished his testing and treatments and referred us to a psychologist. My mother and I took our search in another direction. We tried a GI team at UMass Medical. By this time, my mom had done a lot of research on different possibilities of why I was so sick. Her main conclusion was that I had Lyme. All my symptoms added up to Lyme, but no doctor or specialist could find I had Lyme. My mom heard of this doctor in Connecticut who specializes in treating patients with Lyme. The first day we met, we talked for 2 hours straight. He concluded I did in fact have Lyme. He ran a test from Connecticut called IGeneX. This test came back positive and told me possibly how long I've had Lyme. This doctor believes that Lyme is a disease that is easy to get in this part of the country and hard to diagnose. The treatment for Lyme is longer than 30 days of antibiotics, and his patients will come back him up, showing improvements through the long-term treatment. His treatment for me started off slow with oral medications that I took every day. I started my own pill case, and my mom fills up for me every week. I feel sick, like an old man at this point. I continued this treatment from August of 2010 when I was diagnosed till October 2010. The treatment makes you more sick before you get better. My pain increased and my weight dropped more. I had to quit playing football my senior year in high school. It was hard to do because I played football since I was 7 years old. I was then put on a PICC line, which is an IV that goes from your arm into your main vein of your heart. I got my antibiotic treatments that way until January 2011. I missed a lot of school, I didn't sleep many hours, I lost all my friends, and my family was getting tired of me being miserable. I would have anger outbreaks because the pain was so bad, it built up. My doctor decided it was best to go back on the oral medication, which I still take to this day. It's hard to wake up when you just fell asleep. My muscles and bones ache, and it is hard to concentrate on things I need to do to get throughout my day. I have sight problems and my hands and feet tingle. Sometimes I wake up and my right side is numb, or I have Bell's palsy. But some days I wake up and everything is okay. My pain isn't as bad, and I'm a normal, happy 18-year-old kid, and that is how I know I'm making improvements. There are good days and there are bad days, but there are days I'm alive, so I'm happy. The problem people face in Massachusetts is that some doctors misunderstand what Lyme is. Lyme isn't something that can be treated easily or by one medication. Lyme takes a series of medications over a long period of time. I hope that one day there will be a test and a cure for Lyme, so nobody else has to go through what I go through on a daily basis.